If a man stood beneath a vast night sky and raised his trembling hands to the stars, crying out, "Why, God, why this pain?" he would not be alone. That cry has echoed through the centuries, across continents, from battlefields soaked in blood to hospital rooms dimmed by sorrow. This question, if God exists, why is there so much suffering, is not merely philosophical, it is existential. It bursts forth from the very depths of the human soul. And yet the answer is as breathtaking as it is humbling. Suffering is not a flaw in God's design. It is the fire that reveals the gold within you. It is not the absence of divinity. It is its greatest presence in disguise. But to see this, one must look not with the eyes of fear, but with the eyes of awakening. The human mind, conditioned to seek comfort and avoid pain, rebels against suffering. It cries out, "This shouldn't be." Yet the soul knows better. The soul whispers, "This too is sacred." For what greater teacher is there than the breaking of illusions? What greater temple than the moment when all that is false falls apart and something eternal begins to shine through the cracks? It is here, in this sacred space between loss and realization, that a transformation begins. And perhaps no story captures this more beautifully than that of a grieving mother named Kisa Gotami, who once came to the Buddha. Her arms held her lifeless child, her only child. Her eyes were swollen with tears that had not ceased for days. Her voice trembled with desperation, pleading, "Lord, give me back my child." And the Buddha, whose compassion knew no limits, said gently, "I shall help you, but first, go to every house in the village and bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a house untouched by death." With hope ignited, she went door to door, but every house told the same story. "Death has been here. Grief has eaten at our hearts. You are not alone." And slowly, as she moved from home to home, something shifted in her. She began to see not just her own suffering, but the universal nature of pain. Her personal grief merged with the collective sorrow of humankind. She returned to the Buddha, not asking for the child back, but with eyes that had seen truth. She had awoken. "I now understand," she said, "that death touches all, that life is fleeting, that this world is but a wave, and I am the ocean." Dear seekers, suffering is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the divine chisel sculpting your formless stone into a masterpiece. If you lived a life where everything always went your way, where no loss knocked on your door, where no tear touched your pillow, would you ever ask, "Who am I beyond all this?" Would you ever look beyond the skin, the name, the fleeting pleasures? No. You would remain intoxicated with the illusion. You would settle for the visible and forget the invisible that gives it life. But suffering, suffering! It awakens you like a thunderclap in the middle of a long sleep. It rips the curtain of comfort and forces you to ask questions that lead to the divine. This is not cruelty. It is grace in its fiercest form. Think of gold. How is it purified? By gentle breeze? No. By fire intense, relentless, unwavering. In the same way, your soul is purified through the flames of life. It is through betrayal that you discover faith, through loss that you realize love, through emptiness that you encounter fullness. Suffering burns away the false, so only the eternal may remain. Buddha knew this deeply. He himself left behind a palace of pleasures, saw disease, old age, and death, and from that suffering, the lotus of awakening bloomed. He did not teach us how to avoid pain. He taught us how to transcend it, how to walk through the fire and emerge as light. So, the real question is not, why suffering? But why cling to illusion? The question, if God exists, why suffering? Is born of the belief that this world is meant to be permanent, pleasurable, and perfect. But the sages have always said, this world is a school, not a paradise. And what is the purpose of this school? To remember who you really are, not the body, not the identity, but the infinite, ever-free self that is untouched by pain, by time, by death. Would you remember the ocean if you were satisfied with the drops? Suffering comes when your soul is ready to expand. So the next time pain visits you, and it surely will, do not ask, why me? Instead ask, what is this moment trying to awaken in me? Behind every sorrow is a secret door to the divine. Behind every heartbreak is a whisper from eternity, you are not this form, you are me. So, dear seekers, always remember that your suffering is not in vain. It is the doorway to your liberation. Walk through it. Let it burn what is false. Let it purify what is real. And then, like the Buddha, may you emerge, not bitter, but boundless, not broken, but awakened, and not asking, where is God? But realizing God was in the suffering. God was in the awakening. God is who I am. May every tear become a temple. May every sorrow become a step to the summit. And may your suffering lead you home to your own divine, infinite self,